Alright, here we are once again. TFT Tarot for today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And it's me, Oberon, with my Friday show devoted to our emotional exchanges. It's my outlook on the emotional exchanges. It's a weekly reading for the 12 signs of the Zodiac, and I just do 3 simple cards. I'll get to that in a minute. We're going to start with an opening card for the collective from The Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. It's a great way to start any reading or set of readings as a call card for the collective. I guess it could be a call to the collective too. All right, what do we have? It's reflection. This is the time to reflect on what you have accomplished to date. Remember what you were like 5 years ago, or perhaps 10 years ago. Look back and you'll realize just how far you've come. Acknowledge the experiences that have helped you get where you are. Hopefully you will see that even the painful and unpleasant experiences have served their purpose. Imagine all your experiences turning golden with time, like autumn leaves falling, then blown by the wind, returning to the earth that nourished them in seasons past. Our experiences become a memory. They help us get to where we are. So that's a nice sentiment for us here. It's always good to build on the memory of what you had. So it's a nice sentiment. Once again, that's the Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Alright, so these readings are for the 12 signs of the Zodiac, and they are good for this week ahead. Starting with today, that's the 29th of July. I'm sorry, the 30th of July. And then going to next week, August 5th. No, 6th. Oh, it's so hard to calculate the dates. I should write this out ahead of time, like Banshee, but I don't. All right, first up is Aries. And these are Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, I throw 3 cards and just tell it like it is. All right. King of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. And the Knight of Cups. Okay, so that's kind of interesting because we have 3 different suits and 3 different court cards. So it almost seems like, there's a lot going on for you, Aries. The King of Pentacles could be saying this is a time for you to really try to organize yourself at this, level of emotional relationships, Aries. Maybe you don't have a lot of friends, but maybe you have to figure out where everybody fits, whether it's, some family members and friends, co-workers, whatever. The Queen of Wands says you're doing this really in an engaging way. You, Aries, are trying to be more confident and purposeful in what you're trying to do. You really feel very much drawn to this cause, and you really want to emphasize it in a powerful way. Yet at the same time, with the Knight of Cups, and note the sort of poly or pansexual aspects there, and this is the Modern Love Tarot, that maybe this is saying, you're able to really be accommodating up to a point. You know, the Knight is moving towards things that bring sensual joy or romantic or emotional joy. And so this is saying you found a way, or you are finding a way this week to advance these causes in a way that, you know, feels pleasant for everyone. All right, real quickly, will Aries get lucky? And from the bottom of the deck, it's a Pentacles, so it means there's a price to pay, and the price to pay is the Eight of Pentacles, which means that you have to follow things by the book. You have to have a plan for it. You have to show you're willing, you know, to work it in the right way. And we're going to move on to Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Taurus. It's Nine of Cups reversed. Seven of Pentacles reversed. I knew you were going to be reversed too. It's the Knight of Swords reversed. So, well, not so lucky, Taurus. The Nine of Cups says this week you sort of feel like things are very much not to your satisfaction. You're not really getting what you want. And a lot of what you want really is just to enjoy things. You know, you really are about having no strings attached in certain ways with your quota of pleasure. And I'm not just talking about, you know, sex, sensuality, pleasure. I'm talking about all of it. But the Seven of Pentacles says you are realizing that if you want to happen, you have to do more. You have to work it. Or maybe this is saying this is what the challenge is for you, Taurus. Hey, Taurus, you're a lot like me, Scorpio, because we're on other ends of the zodiac from each other. And so I get it. You know, there's sometimes you just sort of feel entitled to it. But this may be the time, you know, this week where you really will have to try to make it happen. And the Knight of Swords says, don't rush into it, though. You know, you want things always to happen quickly for the sake of your convenience. This is one of those times where maybe you can't. Will you be lucky? And it's no, because it's the reverse King of Swords. You're going to ultimately, somewhere along the way, make the wrong choices, and it's not going to work out. Sorry about that, Taurus. Moving on to Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Oh, I didn't want that to happen. Slippery old cards. Sometimes I wonder if I'm getting arthritis. All right, Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Three of Pentacles, upright. Five of Swords is upright. Page of Wands is upright. Well, there's definitely going to be some sort of news or invite or information here, but this week seems to be about working with others, trying to work on the group dynamic, and that group could just be you and that other person, but this is about all relationships in general for all Geminis, so you figure that out for your life. This is really saying you need to follow the plan, or you need to work with the person. It could be yourself who knows the most about this, who's able to articulate what's going on here. And this is talking about emotional stuff. Now, the Five of Swords could be saying somebody's being hurt here. Somebody is feeling ignored, and it could be because you're engaged elsewhere. And you have to consider this. with the Page of Wands, like I said, maybe good news finally awaits at the end of the week. Maybe the week ends on a better note because you realize that you can move on in a way, and maybe this is about, you know, going somewhere that helps you understand this. An invitation to something. And I don't think just the party is going to help you here. You really need to come to terms with some things, Gemini. There's some disruption going on for you. And I forgot to do, are you going to be lucky? So I'm sorry about that. I guess I got caught up in the reading. I'll try to remember and do one at the end. All right, this is Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And it's Temperance reversed. It's Ace of Pentacles upright. It's the World reversed. Okay. On the emotional department, things feel unbalanced right now. Things feel like you sort of want to be over ebullient, and then you sort of want to be shy and restrictive. And the Ace of Pentacles could be saying that you're seeing something new beginning that has more of a, probably of a friendly co-worker thing here, but it feels like it's growth, so it feels like it's at the beginning. So it's possibly a new friendship, possibly a relationship. I see it as being something connected to yourself material-wise in a way. And then the World reverse, though, indicates that you're still moving towards something where maybe you feel you could be better at it, you know, and maybe that's about some of this. Maybe this is saying you realize that there's something you still have to work on here before you can move on to this new beginning. If it's connected to this, it's saying really, this could be talking about you, Cancer, saying, you know, you're having some emotional issues right now, and maybe you're, part of that is just you're not exactly understanding yourself right now. So take the time to work on that. You're probably not thinking about it, but will you be lucky? And it's the Pentacles, it's the Page of Pentacles. So yes, it comes with a price, and maybe that price is realizing that there's a new situation that you've been kind of not noticing, but maybe now is the time for you to notice that. Maybe it's something that could be helpful with some of the difficulties. All right, that was Cancer, and we're going to move on to Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's Knight of Pentacles reversed. Eight of Cups, right. And the Eight of Wands upright. So two wands, or two eights, makes it sound like there's a sense of something, you know, growthful or beneficial in some ways. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. Things seem really slow and sluggish about, you know, possibilities of relationships or romance even. And if you're already in a relationship, then this just sort of means like there's maybe a focus on some other things right now. Could it be that we're focusing on the Eight of Cups as like maybe your relationships are feeling like they need some movement somewhere, and that they need to move at the very least to an understanding that's better for everybody. but it could also indicate more physical movement within or about that relationship. And the Eight of Wands talks about movement too, and maybe this is really talking about you being able to focus on what your goals should be or what those are. So, will you be lucky? And it's Swords, so that means no. And it's the Knight of Swords, so it is talking about, movement in some ways, and maybe this is saying it's not a situation for you to be thinking about that maybe this is just not really the right time to be thinking that might happen. Move your energy somewhere else would be another way I would say that. All right, Leo will move to Virgo. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Ace of Wands, reversed. Strength is upright. And Two of Cups is upright. So here's the deal for Virgo. A new relationship or something new that's beginning connected to a friendship or relationship seems to have some delays or problems, so it may not be moving correctly to you or as quickly as you want it to. But I think this is saying really if you think you want to be in for the long haul with this, then you just have to apply the kind of consideration or compassion you normally would, and to not be, pushing it, more physically or whatever. And I think that maybe even within this week, you might find that there's reasons for you to consider there is still a harmony there that's happening or beginning in a sense of trust. So will you be lucky? And it's Swords, because maybe it's too early if this is a new relationship, but it's the Seven of Swords, and Swords means no of and by itself. But with the Seven reverse, this could be saying that something is found out and it's not as appreciated. Maybe it's a sense of feeling that the motives are not what you like, or that you don't feel their motivations are pure enough. Something like that. So let's move on to Libra. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Lucky Libra. And the Page of Pentacles upright, that one's back. The Two of Wands is upright. The Ten of Swords is reversed. Okay, so there's some news here, there's something new happening. Maybe we're looking at engaging in things that are more about philosophy or education in some respects. This may be just saying opening up to a new point of view, and so that could be within a relationship or the sense of your social life. The Two of Wands is upright. And so I think what you're looking at here now is maybe situations where you feel like something has been achieved, maybe it's that, but something has been achieved to where you feel it creates that space for you to say what's next and to consider what your options are or how you want to move forward. And maybe it involves something that you felt was opposed to your situation or to the relationship or something, that maybe the sense of moving on, the news, whatever, tells you that now's the time that whatever you might have thought was a problem, it's over, or that situation no longer exists. So will you be lucky, Libra? And it's Pentacles, so it'll come with a price. It's the Knight of Pentacles. So I think this is just saying keep moving in the direction you're moving. It's slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. Remember that, you know, there are things to enjoy along the way, and that you don't have to be destination focused all the time. All right, so we're going to move on to Scorpio. Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Scorpio. And you too have the Ace of Wands, only upright. And the Five of Wands, which is reversed. And the Star, which is upright. So Scorpio, you may be going through some changes here. You may be looking at starting new friendships, or some situation that maybe has meaning for you. Maybe it's a new social circle, or it's something in your relationship that's taking off in a way of some sort. For me, it could be the fact that I'm retiring. And the Five of Wands reversed may be saying that you're coming to terms with some of the competitiveness of a relationship or situation you're in, or feeling like, you know, you don't feel as challenged by who's actually in charge or that kind of thing. You're able to cooperate, or you feel you should. And therefore, you know, you feel like you're building or working towards a destiny. So will you be lucky, Scorpio? And it's a maybe, because it's a major arcana. It's the Lovers reversed, and this could be saying you have to really make sure you're making the right choice. You have to choose virtue whenever possible over vice. So you're lucky if you're not expecting, you know, certain things, and what you may not be expecting is something you don't need anyway. Does that make sense? I don't know. All right, Scorpio, let's move on to Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I hate dropping cards. All right. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And it's the Hangman. Upright. The Tower reversed. And the Magician reversed. So they're all major arcana, so that's kind of heady there. This could be a kind of charged week for you, Sagittarians. The Hangman says that maybe you think you're being noble somehow, but, you know, that could be true, but maybe it's not exactly true. Maybe you think you're making a great sacrifice for what you believe in, either in your relationship or one that you're hoping for. But the Tower says really this belief, Sagittarians, may not really go anywhere, and that maybe this is something you're not able to totally understand why it's happening. You may have been here before. You may have made similar kinds of mistakes or feelings that have ended up being about the same. And so I do think that maybe this is about, you know, some relationships, and some of this could be about you and your own sense of willpower, or how you allow others to have their willpower. And so maybe Sagittarians, you have to examine the nature of some of your relationships and look at whether or not they're really built on, you know, common ground of some sort. Will you be lucky? And it's one, so it says it will come with a little work. You'll have to work at it. But it's the Two of Wands, and that looks like a relationship, and that looks like moving forward. So I would say that, yeah, it'll happen. It just will take some work. Good luck, Sagittarian. And we'll move on to Capricorn. Sun, moon, or rising. Capricorn, and Seven of Pentacles is reversed. Death is upright, and the Ace of Pentacles is also upright. So Seven of Pentacles reversed. The relationship needs a jump start. It's not going to go any further. Or in fact, maybe there's a situation where either your emotions are in hiatus about a particular relationship, your primary one or some other one, or maybe you're also just thinking, excuse me, what it takes to start over, or to invigorate it, or to take it out of a pause that it may be in. And that's probably okay, but it really needs a big change. I mean, if you're prepared to maybe work on big changes that need to happen here to change the status quo in some way, then maybe, you know, that can revitalize it. Because that's what it looks like here, is that you might have to come to terms on some actual material things about the relationship. And that could be, of course, a shared economy, you're both working, what's going on, or something shared, figuring out consolidating properties if you come from separations, or maybe if you're already a settled couple, where you really want to invest and start something new in the future, especially if it's going to have really strong emotional feelings for you. So Capricorn, will you be lucky? And it will come naturally, because it's the Three of Cups. Cups means naturally. So Capricorn, yes, you'll be lucky, and maybe it's in the context of celebrating or feeling happy about your family, you know, or socialness, gatherings, people. All right, we'll move on to Aquarius. Sun, moon, or rising. And the Emperor upright. Ten of Swords is upright. Page of Wands is upright. So I almost feel compelled to say I should start here that there's news, and it feels like it's okay news, because maybe it feels like you've moved beyond something that was really causing a lot of problems or grief. It may be the end of a relationship or some sort of emotional situation, but you know it's over. You know you're able to move on in a way. And here's the Emperor, and the Emperor maybe connotes the idea of being able to really take care of things and manage things, and that maybe this is saying if you need strength from resources or things, then you got people for that. You know, that's the Emperor too. He's got people for that. So it all looks pretty good, even though it may be about, you know, something that was emotionally sad for you. But will you be lucky, Aquarius? And it's the Wands, 3 of Wands reversed, so it means you'll have to work at it. And 3 of Wands is saying that maybe the opportunity is limited, or it's not exactly what you think or as good as you want, or there's just a good chance you're not going to be able to take advantage of this opportunity for some reason. Okay, so we're going to move on to Pisces. Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Pisces, it's the upright 2 of Wands. It's the reversed 8 of Pentacles. And it's the Hermit, which is upright. So, I think like normally I'm starting here, and I'm feeling like Pisces feels they're able, you know, to move on to new territory. It could be meaning that really something has happened within the relationship that sort of says now's the chance to move ahead. And it could be for a settled relationship, or it could be about a relationship that has basically just sort of come into being or created its actual basis of being here. So it's a good card. It's saying you're going to move on. Now the 8 of Pentacles reversed may indicate there's this thing where you don't appreciate skills, or you don't see skills or resources or things going on, qualities that maybe work for success in the relationship. So you may feel like there's maybe something going on that's going to take some getting used to, if at all. And the Hermit is sort of saying like maybe you're going to have to rethink the situation, and maybe it's not about a relationship, but it might be about something adjacent or within a relationship. So it might be like a big plan or a project that a couple wanted to do, but now maybe somebody's feeling like something's not right there, or something needs to be rethought about. So that's the best I can do with that, Pisces. But will you get lucky? And it's Pentacles, so it means it will come with a price. And it's the 5 of Pentacles reversed. And so it means you may have to come to an understanding about this. You might have to come into the light on this. In respect, this may be feeling like you're alone in this opinion. Maybe you have to realize that you're not exactly suited for being in that position. You need to maybe figure out how to move towards a better position or an understanding with these people or this situation. So that's what I have for Pisces, and therefore everybody in the Zodiac. And I want to thank everybody for coming once again. And I hope you gave it a like. I appreciate that. And you can always write us at tfttarotfortoday@gmail.com if you want any input into the readings or situations. So don't forget to, oh wait, that's right, tomorrow there is no happy hour, because tomorrow's my last day at work, where I work at in my regular job. So there will be no happy hour at all. So I hope you will come back in 2 weeks for happy hour, or a week from Saturday, actually tomorrow. But also Sunday is Banshee's Material Matters, same time and same channel at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join our live chat room for fun and frolic, and maybe some caffeinated beverages. Well, you have to supply that yourself. And then later on is our Sunday live stream from 2 to 4 p.m. You can always get our cards or oracles of the day in various places and types of media. You can get them on Instagram or X or YouTube or Threads or blue ski. I think that's it. So have a great week, everybody, and I hope if you didn't get lucky, you'll at least be able to deal with the ramifications of your emotional exchanges. I'll see you next week.